this is Debbie Samuels, and welcome to the Topography of Discipleship. Well, for the next 4 weeks, we're going to be hitting the trail of what should be a well-worn trail of sharing the gospel. But we seem to have an issue of that trail isn't being used enough. Some of the statistics say that up to 83% of the church is not sharing the gospel. So today we're going to take a look at why that happens and what should be our response to that. So welcome to the Topography of Discipleship.
Hi, Wendy Hinman, and we want to look at Galatians because Paul is passionate about the gospel in Galatians. So here's the setup. He has gone to Galatia on one of his missionary journeys. He shared the gospel with them. They have gotten saved and a church has started there. But then something has happened, and he's writing to them, and he says in Galatians 1, verse 6, he says, I am astonished that you are so quickly deserting the one who called you to live in the grace of Christ and are turning to a different gospel, which is really no gospel at all. And what they were doing is they were going to the ways of the world. And a lot of times when we get saved, we hear it, we know it, but then we start to wander. As a matter of fact, Paul is going to remind them, and he goes, you foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you? Before your very eyes, Jesus Christ was crucified, was clearly portrayed as crucified. I would like to learn one thing from you. Did you receive this Spirit by the works of the law or by believing what you heard? And so Paul is reminding the church of the gospel because it is so important for the church to hear it, do it, say it over and over again. And here's a trick that you need to learn when you're sharing the gospel. If you go out and share the gospel and you're scared, I can bet you anything. When you're done, you're going to be enthused and excited. It doesn't matter how the other person responds. You yourself heard the gospel as you yourself spoke it. And it's their job to do what they're going to do with it. But when you hear it again, in your times in the Word, in your sharing, in your living of it, it'll get in you and it will transform you.
I love that Wendy shared with us what was said in Galatians, because when she talked about that they were saved, they knew the truth, but they went back to the ways of the world. Rick Warren says that whatever we put our mind upon, whatever we think about, then becomes what we feel. And this impacts our emotions. Then it comes out into how we behave or how we act. This is exactly what was happening in this church, is they took their mind off of Christ and put it on the ways of the world. Rick Warren also said that self-defeating behavior is always based upon a lie. This week I had to begin to take a look at what are those behaviors in my life that are based upon a lie right now, and come back to the beauty and the bottom line truth of the gospel. The gospel is for us every day. Every day we go back to the beauty of that cross where Christ died for us. And this is the place where we die to self and not live as it is so easy for us to live in the ways of the world. It is so easy to follow in the cravings of our flesh. But what Christ is saying here, come back to your birthplace. This is what you were born for, is to live by the Spirit and walk with Him. And remember that the gospel is for us every day.
So we've talked about how the gospel is for us, and it's for us every day who are already saved. But the Bible says, if we believe in our hearts and confess with our mouth, we shall be saved. We're not saved by sharing the gospel, but here's the thing. Debbie was talking about those self-defeating lies. I'm going to give you the biggest one right now, and it's fear. When we are afraid, it stops up all the operations of the gospel. Do you know what is on the other side of fear? Is life. Life for us. and life for others. Do you know what the opposite of faith is? A lot of times we think it's doubt, and we may doubt ourselves when it comes to sharing the gospel. But the opposite of faith is fear and not trusting. So next week, we're going to share with you the easiest part, the easiest first step in sharing the gospel.